with this set of cut slicks through to the end of the stint.
This is the Radio Show Limited Network. You're tuned to RS1 for full coverage of the 24 hours of the Nürburgring. 9.5 hours, give or take, we had off last night because of a red flag. The race control and officials took a little bit of time to decide exactly what the best route forward was going to be, and we had an update at midnight local time to say we wouldn't be able to go racing before 7 a.m. and that meant a prolonged time, amazingly, during a 24-hour race for the drivers and the mechanics to actually get some proper bit of shut-eye. Restarted at 8 o'clock this morning after a significant chunk of evening running in the darkness, and that's where the Mercedes had all manner of problems. The 4 driven by Manuel Metzger out of the Kleiner Carousel, losing it, big old tank slapper, put it into the wall on the right-hand side, and Manuel Metzger absolutely gutted by a minor error that led to a major issue for the 4 and into retirement. And the number 9 car also in the wars as well. 2 separate incidents, as we subsequently found out, also pinged for driver error when it turned the Porsche Carrera Cup car round. There was some contact when Maxi Goertz was at the wheel, and the poor old SP7 car left to limp back to the pits, but that was judged to have been Goertz's fault. There was a penalty to soak up once we restarted the race, but the 9 car has rejoined. It probably wouldn't have done had the red flag not come out, because I think GetSpeed were just about packing up and thought, hang on a minute, we can repair this overnight outside of Parc Fermé conditions, after a big crash for Raffaele Marciello into the barrier at Callenhard. And again, head in hand, the second time we would see an AMG driver. Unbelievable that they made that sort of a mistake. But it's so easy to do. And when we saw also Christopher Haase spinning on the wet stuff, coming out of that tricky run at Wipperman as well, clouting the curb and looping at least twice, I think, amazingly keeping that R8 LMS out of the barrier. Red flags did eventually fly, though, after 6 hours and 45 minutes completed in the race and 39 laps. And there was a lengthy pause, but we got going again at 8 o'clock this morning. It was brightish, but the cloud cover was still very, very heavy. And the thing about race cars circulating all the way around the Nürburgring, that generates spray, which doesn't really dissipate anywhere. It hovers in the valleys and really compromises visibility. The first group, because the start, although it was single file, was still separated into 2 start groups again. First of those got through cleanly, the second of which we had a couple of spinners. Maxi Buch installed into the repaired number 9 Mercedes for his opening stint, made quick work of Marco Werner's 33 Porsche. And then the Audis started their tussling with Frank Stippler, and we also had in for the opening stint René Rast in the 29 car. Christopher Haase making short work of him, though, courtesy of the slipstream effect down the Dottinger Höhe. And the number 3 car collection entered Audi Sport Team car, the R8, still net our leader, because it'll be Nico Müller in again shortly once he comes to the end of his natural stint. We're just over halfway through that now for the DTM Championship leader, the Swiss. So Bortolotti feeds back in second place on the road ahead of Nick Yellerly, and the gap is just over a second, with in third position Mathieu Jaminet. Christopher Haase, a real heart-in-mouth moment down at Arenberg, though, where he ran out of road and fully in the gravel trap. No idea how he managed to steer it to the right enough to keep it out of the barrier. He just about scrubbed enough speed as he left the hard standing and headed into the stones. The 42 BMW has also been motoring on well as the M6 GT3s come good. I mean, I know there's been a few years of late where BMW have left this event really scratching their heads, but are they, although not leading the race, just there in the box seat, ready to capitalise if there is a drama for the car collection car? Because certainly both Rover machines and the Schnitzer 42 BMW look a very stable car in the middle portion of the stint, and as it gets lighter on the fuel. They'll have to maybe stop scrapping in amongst themselves, though, Schnitzer and Rover side by side through the Yokohama S, with Martin Tomczyk being overtaken. And the number 1 car of currently Nico Müller. It was Frank Stippler who'd done a couple of stints prior to the Swiss taking over. And this car, certainly not the one that is the guinea pig. They're using, it would seem, Audi using the 29 car to make the initial decision. And then if it's a good one, they will also adopt it for cars 1 and 3. You can now start to use a little bit of that white line, some of the curbs as well, as the track continues to dry up. And we are getting closer to not qualification times, because remember the best time out of the 3-part qualifying earlier in the week was something like an 8:11. We are down to the 8.5 minute marker now.
So it's nip and tuck at the front.